think Epstein was. I think Epstein was extremely qualified at extortion and other social techniques. He may have, if not probably, if not almost certainly, was espionage. You know, could have been foreign, could have been domestic, funded by something like that. His task was to find and compromise some of the richest people in the world. He was very good at it. He got into, you know, the names. I mean, he got into virtually the who's who of New York and other places, including at MIT, where he got close to Marvin Minsky and many other folks. And you know, it is what it is. You know, he did it. You know, he tried to extort people. He was a very unusual guy. I do think he killed himself. Having been in prison, I can give you a little bit of insight there. I don't think that was a hit job. He's an older guy at that point. Was he 65 or something when he died? You know, he was facing life in prison. He was clearly a pedophile. So none of the NatSec or espionage stuff was going to even be in the trial. That was irrelevant. Judge would throw any of that out. The government's certainly not going to put it in the case. Was the government going to put it in the case? He wasn't going to talk. He could have talked a long time ago. So do I think he had a lot of rich people's secrets? Yes, I do. But guess what? So do I. And you keep those secrets because however you got them, friendship, gossip, whatever, you know, nobody wants to be a gossip. He was using it as extortion. You know, he was basically, hey, I know you have a mistress, right? I know you you have a mistress and your wife doesn't know about it. And I think we should be donating a lot to MIT, don't you think? And Gates is like, yeah, I guess so. And Apollo guy, he really snared that guy in. I feel bad for some of these guys, but some of them have weaknesses, you know. They're human. Yeah, eventually stock-based comp goes down quite a bit. You talking about me, Frantic? Yeah, those prison cameras never work. Yeah, I think you like too many conspiracy theories over there. Most conspiracy theories are not true. Of course he killed himself. Why wouldn't he kill himself? I've actually been to jail. I know how it works. A lot of people who are looking at a life sentence don't want to go through it. In fact, he was obviously, he set up his will so that if, a lot of people don't know this, but if you die while you are at trial, your charges are dismissed. So I knew somebody, I wouldn't call him a friend, but you know, I knew him, who killed himself after a major insider trading. There's a major insider trading scandal, and this fellow, Indian guy, if you know who I'm talking about, very sadly, like a day after he was indicted, he killed himself. And a lot of people said, why? You know, maybe the guy would have 5 years, 10 years. I mean, he's not going to go to jail forever. And it's about the estate. Yeah, so basically the charges are dismissed. The state cannot convict. Yeah, exactly. The state cannot convict a felon. If the state can't convict a felon, they can't get restitution. They can't get ill-gotten fees. What's that called? I can't believe I'm blanking on this because I paid so many fucking dollars of it myself. Restitution, and I'm glad I'm blanking on it, so it's not my day to day every day. Um, Disgorgement, but it's called something else in prison, or in the criminal justice system. So in any event, um, if you no, there's a word for it. Um, It'll come to me when I get it. So in any event, if you he gave it to his brother. Epstein gave his estate to his brother. It's not probate either. Um, it's not alimony. It's not reparation. Yeah, I'm kind of happy to be past it, but I paid 8 million myself. I paid like a couple $100,000 restitution, which was really unfair in my opinion. And then I paid disgorge. It think it's disgorgement, but I don't. I'm 90% sure it's disgorgement, but I also feel like it's not. Um. Anyway, I paid like 8 million disgorgement. So if you yeah, it's disgorgement. So anyway, the so if you are deceased while trial is proceeding against you, or the case is proceeding against you, the case dismissed, you don't have a felony, all your money is free to be used by your estate. They did end up paying a bunch of the estate to the victims anyway, because there were a lot of civil cases. But it's one of the choices people make when they do the calculus of, I'm 60 years old. How many more years am I going to have? I lived in the lap of luxury my whole life. Now I'm going to live in the lap of this shithole. Epstein was one of these people as well. If you look into his life, he really liked luxury. There are rich people that don't give a crap. And then there's people like Epstein. This guy had monogrammed slippers with his initials on them. This guy had, the most ornate and opulent settings. So he was very used to luxury. So stepping into the Manhattan Correctional Facility, Metropolitan, MDC is Metropolitan Detention Center, MCC is Manhattan Correctional or something like that. It's not pretty. And the risk benefit of, look, I've lived a long life. What's the point of living super old for the next 10, 15 years in this terrible setting? It makes no sense. With my name being dragged through the mud, I'm probably going to get beat up and abused by these other prisoners. Doesn't make any sense. Frantic. All prison cameras are off, dude. I hate to tell you this. Your whole thesis falls apart right then and there. I was for the first time, I was in the SHU. There's a special housing unit, which is in essence a euphemism for the hole, or solitary confinement. So I went to the hole, and it was weird. There was a camera right in my face, right over my bed. I was like, this is weird. I asked the guard, I said, what the fuck is that? He said, Martin, those cameras haven't worked in 10 years. I said, really? He's like, yeah, we don't give a fuck. They're just, prisons are not the kind of facilities you think. The BOP and all that stuff, like, bruh, it's just, there's no technology in there. Don't spam my chat. This is not Fort Knox. There's no fucking. There's none of that. The guards fall asleep. They're always asleep. Prison guards are the laziest people in the world. They don't work. Yeah, don't believe what you read. Trust Shkreli. Yeah, it all, so many people love conspiracy theories, and there's just not that. The world's just not that interesting.